You know, we all wonder about it. What if we could add years to our life, and maybe more importantly, add more life to our years? We kind of think the secret is locked away in our DNA, right? That it's all just a genetic lottery we either win or lose. But what if I told you the science tells a completely different, and honestly, a much more hopeful story? Take a look at this number, 80%. According to the huge Danish twin study, that's how much of our longevity is decided not by our genes, but by our lifestyle and our environment. Yeah, you heard that right. Only about 20% is genetics. Just think about that for a second. It means the vast majority of how long and how well we live is actually in our hands. So, if it's not our genes, what is the real secret? It's a huge question, especially when you think about how often our best intentions, well, they just fall apart. I mean, studies show that over 90% of diets are given up within 7 months, and something like 70% of gym memberships just go completely unused after 2 years. Clearly, the answer isn't just about trying harder. To find the real answer, a team led by Dan Buettner, with support from National Geographic, set off on this amazing expedition. Their mission? To find these little pockets around the globe where people were living measurably longer, healthier, and happier lives. And they gave these places a name, the Blue Zones. And they found 5 of them. First, you've got the shepherds in Sardinia, Italy. Then, the world's longest-lived women over in Okinawa, Japan. They even found a community in Loma Linda, California, another in Nicoya, Costa Rica, and the residents of this little island in Greece called Ikaria. Get this, in these places, people are reaching the age of 100 at 10 times the rate of the United States. This quote, wow, it comes from a man named Stamatis Moritis, and his story is just incredible. He was living in the US at age 66 when he was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer and told he had just a few months to live. So he decided to just move back home to his island of Ikaria. He started breathing the air, drinking the wine, planting a garden, and 37 years later, he was still there, making his own wine. When they asked his secret, he said, "I just forgot to die." Now, stories like that are powerful, right? But the researchers were looking for cold, hard data. After analyzing all 5 of these communities, they managed to boil it all down to 9 evidence-based common denominators. These aren't just theories, they are the shared lifestyle principles that connect every single blue zone. And they call it the Power 9. And here they are, grouped into 4 really simple buckets. First, they move naturally. We're not talking about hitting the gym for an hour. We're talking gardening, walking everywhere. They eat wisely, with a diet that's mostly plants, and they have this rule to stop eating when they're about 80% full. They have the right outlook, a strong sense of purpose, what the Okinawans call ikigai, and daily routines to shed stress. And this is a big one. They connect, putting loved ones first and building a right tribe, like the Okinawan Moais, which are basically lifelong support groups. So, okay, we know what they do, but that leads us to the most important question of all. How do they do it? You know, how do they keep these things up for their entire lives? It's so easy to look at that Power 9 list and think it all comes down to some kind of superhuman discipline. But the real secret? It's something way more reliable than willpower. It's the science of habits. Let's just ask it directly. Do people in blue zones have superhuman willpower? The answer is no. Of course not. They aren't fundamentally different from you or me. They've just, without even realizing it, mastered the science of creating an environment where the healthy choice is the easy choice. Let's break down exactly how that works. Every single habit you have, good or bad, follows the simple little cycle in your brain called the habit loop. It starts with a cue, a trigger. That cue kicks off a routine, which is the behavior itself. And that routine leads to a reward, which tells your brain, hey, do that again, that was good. As this loop gets stronger, the behavior literally moves from your conscious, thinking brain to the automatic part. It just becomes second nature. So yeah, it's just 3 simple steps. First, there's the cue, that's the trigger. Then, the routine, the action you take. And finally, the reward, the prize your brain gets for doing it. Think about your morning coffee, right? The cue is waking up. The routine is making and drinking the coffee. The reward is that jolt of energy. The more you do it, the less you even have to think about it. It just happens. And here's the crucial difference. Most of us try to change using a goal-oriented approach. It relies 100% on willpower. But people in blue zones live in a systems-oriented world. Instead of deciding to eat healthy, their system, their whole environment, just makes it the path of least resistance. They don't have vending machines, they have gardens. They've designed their lives around healthy cues, routines, and rewards. And this is the best part. You don't have to move to Sardinia to get all these benefits. You can actually apply these exact same principles to build your own little blue zone, right where you are. The key is to focus on what researchers call your life radius. That's the 5-mile area where we spend about 90% of our lives. So how do you do it? Well, you engineer your environment with tiny, simple changes. For example, just put a fruit bowl on your counter. That's a new, healthy cue right there. Or serve food from the stove instead of having a big platter on the table. That completely changes the routine around getting second helpings. See? It's not about willpower. It's about smart design that builds better habits automatically. And one of the most powerful parts of your environment, it's the people you're surrounded by. The Power 9 called this the right tribe. And let me tell you, social support isn't just some soft, nice-to-have idea. It is a scientifically proven, incredibly powerful tool for changing your behavior. Just look at this data. In one study on changing health behaviors, people with just one support person had a 61% greater improvement than those with no support. And those with multiple support people, they had 100% greater improvement. Their success rate literally doubled. That's the power of building your own MOI. Okay, so where do you start? The CDC actually has this beautifully simple framework. First, reflect. Take a look at your own life and figure out the cues that trigger your unhealthy habits. Second, replace. Find a new, healthier routine to connect to that same cue. And third, reinforce. Acknowledge your success, give yourself a little credit. That acts as the reward to lock in that new habit loop. Building a longer, healthier life doesn't start with some heroic act of willpower. It starts with one small, smart change to the system you live in every single day. So the real question isn't about what you're going to do next year. It's this. What's one small change you can make to your environment today?